Good morning, guys. It's Coach Scott. This happy Friday. Wrapping things up for the week. See you there, Ron Booze. Ron's here nice and early today because I gave him a little guff for yesterday. But he's here, ready to go nice and early. Let's see how we're doing here. I am tired today, but I'm up. Did drop a pound yesterday. I know. Day-to-day fluctuations. I know. It's working though. Good direction. Let's see. So today's workout, interestingly enough, I've been working on a lot of these custom workouts. But give me a second here. Here's our 6-week beginner. And it always scrolls down on me when I select it there. I have to go back up. Week 2. So we have this active recovery workout here. And I gotta tell you, this one, it looks just way too easy. And I hate to say that. And I know that's the purpose of it too, to a certain degree. But I'm going to go back and do foundation again. I was going to do this one, and now I'm looking at this one, and it's a little enticing. Just because it's a little bit shorter. Alright, don't be a wuss. We're going to take this one, work out, and back. And here we go. Here's our workout. Oh, did I move this thing back over? I did, right? Yeah, okay. I did. Alright, there we go. There's our workout. I got a minute and a half to kind of pretend like I'm still sleeping. I felt like I had a lot to talk about yesterday or this morning. And I don't feel really tired today. Hey, Todd. Yeah, I don't know. We went to bed a little bit later. So I finished the ride yesterday. Took my daughter for ice cream. Promised her. She had me over a barrel. She came down while I was doing the ride last night. Put me on the spot. So I agreed to take her for ice cream. Which I'm sure is not on my diet for next week. We're still looking at joining Matt for at least a week of intermittent fasting next week. Matt sent me a video this morning. I'll be checking that out. I mean, I promised him I'd do it for a week. So I might just have to abide by the rules, even though I tried to modify them and he didn't like that idea. A little tired this morning out the gate. You can tell the legs are sluggish. I had a good ride yesterday, man. Yesterday's ride was solid. And last night's ride was good too. So maybe that's what I wanted to talk about. Last night we did trivia. So with trivia, you know, more kind of about the entertainment and kind of just trying to enjoy it. Enjoy the ride with friends. Than it is about really glitchy side. And then really like pushing it. We are in Innsbruck, I think, or Yorkshire. Innsbruck. We are on the back circle there. the Lutcher or something it's called. I gotta tell you, Todd, after the first 1 minute and 13 seconds, maybe that recovery ride was a good idea. I don't know if this ride will kill me today. Shouldn't be too hard. But especially after last night's ride, my legs are jello. Alright, yeah, so last night's ride, basically I'm not paying attention, I'm just kind of spinning the wheels. And normally, I would guess I'm around 150 to 160 watts on average when I finish. Just because I'm not really paying attention. And I'm just riding along. And last night I was like 178 or something on average. Which is really, really strong. So yeah, Ron, there should be lots of elevation here for you today. It's a big loop, but it's not an easy loop. I just gotta get out of this morning fog. And I hit every morning. Yesterday I wasn't so bad. Yesterday, man, right out the gate I was doing okay. I think you're absolutely right, Ron. The training plan is working 2 weeks in. And I think that's really cool. I think that's, that's one of those things that I was kind of hoping to see doing this, Get a little success, a little consistency. And I feel really good about it. I mean, but the thing is, I don't think there have been no rides. The thing with this ride, right? So we get our warm up and cool down are at pretty low levels, typically. So when you look at things like average watts at the end of this ride, it's always going to be skewed down versus when we do the night ride and nobody warms up. You just go out. I mean, if you want to warm up, you warm up before. And you just kind of go out cold. Which as a coach, I probably shouldn't necessarily be like, yeah, do that, but everyone does. So I think it's just natural. Those rides are going to naturally skew higher, but even for me, it's just naturally normal. I should go back and look at some of my Thursday night rides. So I feel like on a normal Thursday night, I'd be like 155 to 160. Without paying attention, and this week I was really high. Like 178. Felt good. Yeah, Todd's having a little struggle fest this morning. Yeah, I kid. But actually, the last thing you want to have to replace is your trainer. Hopefully, it's just a glitch. I have some glitches from time to time. Alright, run that 6-minute set. So I just put in 90 minutes just 'cause I didn't know what workout everyone was going to do. Since it was kind of like an optional day. So I figured I'd put in 90 minutes and that way it has you covered whenever you decide to stop. I think Todd's workout is 44 minutes. Oh, we crested that hill pretty easy. I thought this was bigger. It's bigger. There's no way. Did we start at the top? Anyway. Yeah, it's a big hill. They must have put us at the top. I saw us at 300 meters before and we'd only climbed like 100 feet. So I think they threw us at the top, which is good, which is fine. We'll come back around and do it again. I heard that this, I think Matt Shore did this one for I think it's Innsbruck. But you know, Innsbruck has that course that's sort of like you run through town. You go up those streets. Oh yeah. My eyes, I didn't even pay attention. I thought that Ron was asking the question. It was Todd. Todd doesn't watch the live stream. I can't get my cadence anyway. I'm stuck at 70. But Matt, I think, tried to get the badge from this course. And I think that's what happens. They start you way up north. And then not only do you have to do this part, but then you have to do another full loop to get the badge or something ridiculous. I'm still getting warm here. I mean, I'm sweating, but my legs are not at full. They haven't opened up. They may not. So Steph and I, we finished the Eco Challenge series on Prime 2 days ago. Talked about that yesterday. And last night we watched the Iron Cowboy 50-50-50 documentary, prepping for the podcast on Monday. And here's so there's a lot of controversy. And I didn't realize this, but they addressed the controversy in the movie. And I'm happy they did that. Because that way it's just not they address it. They hit it head on, and there's no controversy. I mean, there's controversy, but it's not like they're trying to mask it. So what's the controversy? Well, there's a few things that he did that were questionable. One of them was that he took IV fluids, and that WADA said it was against WADA rules. That if you're in a regular Ironman and you take these fluids, you'd be flagged. And it's not, you don't get, and the thing was, it's IV fluids. It's not like it's, was that EPO or any kind of like performance enhancers. And the reason why he was taking them was to address dehydration issues. And the fluids, the reason why they were illegal is because they're a masking agent. So basically, if you're taking something like EPO or steroids or something, theoretically you could take IV fluids and that might mask any test, mask the presence of the performance enhancer. So, this being an unofficial thing, I don't really, who cares? Who cares, number one? And number two, in the end it was revoked, I believe. WADA basically said, yeah, you're okay with us. So, that was a positive thing. I was glad they addressed it. Now, I hadn't watched the documentary. I had heard that he replaced a run with an elliptical. By the way, I wish I was doing recovery too tough. And look, I'm a believer in the elliptical in terms of training. Especially if you're starting out a little overweight, or you're starting to feel some pain, and you think you may be injured. I'm all for replacing a run with the elliptical in training here and there. But I also know that the mileage reading from an elliptical is completely unreliable, number one. And number two, it's just not the same as running. It's close to running, but it's not the same. And it's not replacing a run in this circumstance with the elliptical. Yeah, it's kind of a disqualifier. However, two things. Number one, and this is, I think, something that no one thinks, or no one decided to comment on. He was dealing with weather issues, right? There were hurricanes outside. So let me tell you this. If you show up at an Ironman event and there are hurricanes outside, do you think they're going to have that event? Let me give you an answer. No. They will not. Number two, by the elliptical is great exercise. Matt Shore says he lost 30 pounds on the elliptical. I believe it. I used to use it all the time at the gym. I would go do my lunch workouts there, especially at heavier weights. You can burn a lot of calories on the elliptical, more so than you will on a bike for the same time period. Obviously, depending on what resistance you set it. It mimics running as best as you can without the impact of running, which from a coaching standpoint, I think that's great. I think that's great. And I have an athlete who's a little bit banged up. And she's getting upset because she's going to have to take some time off. For now, just a little bit amount of time so she can get it checked out. But replacing runs with elliptical is a godsend in that circumstance. Back to Ironman. So number one, yeah, if it's a regular Ironman and there's a hurricane outside, they are canceling. Or a regular Ironman, I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. Lake Placid, 2015. The swimmers go out into the lake in the morning. It's overcast. There's some lightning and thunder in the distance. And they took most of the swimmers out after one loop. So you swim, instead of swimming 2.4 miles, they swim 1.2. Got out of the water, finished the bike, finished the run, got their Ironman medals. Do you think Ironman's not going to call them an Ironman? Even though they cut the swim in half? Of course not. Of course not. So how about that? All I'm saying is, in circumstances of strange weather events, you have to adapt. And yeah, he could have adapted on the treadmill. But there's no rules to this thing. This was his event. He wasn't getting himself in Guinness. Guinness has strict rules. But he wasn't getting himself in Guinness. He was doing this for himself and doing it for charity. The charity side too. Can address that in a second. Here's the part B. Iron Cowboy just decided to do this on his own, right? He came up with his rules. He came up with what he wanted to do. And who are we to say that's legit or not? Who are we to say that? So many people out there, and I get it. It's an elliptical. Is it disqualifier? Well, kinda. It's not the same. You know, you hear about the challenge, it's not the same. But are you doing it? Are you out there doing it? And you know what? If you got such a problem with it, go and do it your way. Go and do it the right way. And kind of erase that from the record book. I struggle with my Ironman finish from last year. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I doubt it. Right, sometimes I doubt myself. I finished in 17 hours, 0 minutes, 52 seconds. And I know that there are people out there who will say, well, you didn't finish in 17 hours. You're not an Ironman for that. Now, and I get the whole time cutoff. I get it. This was my day. It was my race and my experience, especially with my daughter. And we had Mike Riley on the podcast about a month before I did my race. And I asked him the same exact question. The same exact question. If you start early, you know, before that 7 a.m. mark, and you make it in underneath that midnight mark, but you're one of the few athletes in that window, finishing before midnight but after 17 hours, what does Mike Riley think? And he said, look, you come into that circle, into that oval in Lake Placid, and I call your name, I'm calling you what I think you are, which is an Ironman. So it may look in the books, like, I don't know how they do it, a DNF or a DQ, I don't know how, it's probably a DNF. Well, your time is there. You made it around that course. You trained hard. You know, you may have run into impediments on that day that you weren't expecting. For me, it was blisters. And who is anyone else to say that you did or did not finish? And if Mike Riley's going to call me an Ironman, then so be it. I will tell you, since then, on that day, yeah, I don't know, Matt. So Matt and I were on the course at the same time. Look, I tell you what, Matt, I know that you passed me a bunch of times because I recognized you as soon as I saw you on the internet. So we passed each other a bunch of times. I have no idea where, though. But it would have been fun. Oh, we did. I know we did. You know, the thing is, I think it was mostly on the run where we were passing each other. Plus also on the out and back courses, like you're going one way, I'm going another, or whatever. I'd be interested, you know what I'd be interested to find out is, it was just our splits. Because I'm betting I got out of the water first. I'm betting you passed me on the bike somewhere. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see. I'm ignoring them. I am on a rant. Let me go back. So my point on Iron Cowboy. Technically speaking, he probably didn't do exactly what he set out to do. Guys, I'm tired. I just want to talk. Just let me talk. Typing is hard. I typed all last night. And I'm talking to Matt here. You know what? In the dark, River Road gets lonely. It does. By yourself, unless you're walking with other people. And I was kind of stopping and starting that second loop in the dark. I turned my ankle on the side of the road at one point. And you can't see the road. Ron, that's a good point. Take it up with the event organizer. Or beat them. Or go out and beat them. Do it the way you think is the right way. And you know what? You go out there 50 consecutive days and expect 50 consecutive perfect weather days. It ain't gonna happen. You just happen to hit a hurricane. And I don't know. It was right around the same time he did the elliptical. Ah. 50, 50, 49. Well, I think what was interesting, one of the interesting things, was that you see how hard he suffered through some of these. And it wasn't so much those ones, but how do you recover when you're shaking and it looks like you got hypothermia? And it looks like you can't even get off your bike. If you can't get off your bike on Tuesday, how are you supposed to do 112 miles on Wednesday? And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, oh, you know? So all I'm saying is I appreciate the effort that he did. Hey, Daniel. Daniel's a new guy. I saw your comment just as I was turning the thing off the other day. Congratulations on your anniversary. If you want me to invite you, I'll just keep inviting you. I just didn't want to be the weird guy that invites someone that you don't know over and over and over again. But happy to invite you to a ride if you're interested. And you don't have to go every day. You can come sometimes and then other times don't. That'd be great, man. I love riding with people on this thing. I love meeting people here. It's good stuff. What am I doing here? This is halfway point. Yeah, we'll add you. We'll add you to the ride. And you can come some days, you come. If not, not a big deal. It'll be good to see you. These rides are all, I mean, look, I'm writing in the time. So right now you can see 27 minutes into this ride. If you look on the top left, we got 33 minutes, or I got 33 minutes to go. Todd is doing a shorter workout. He'll be done even earlier than that. But you come and go as you please. Obviously the wattage that you're set at is dependent on your FTP. Todd weighs less than us, I bet. He's a recovery animal. I don't know if you guys can even read Ron's comments. You probably can't. And done. Alright, that's about halfway. Feeling pretty good. Anyway, the other part of that elliptical thing, going back to it one more time. He didn't hide from it. You know? You dress that thing straight on. There was some long Facebook post or something, and he admitted it was a bad decision in the long run. Because yeah, that's going to hang over the whole thing. And you're going to get people that say, oh, he didn't do it. But again, if you woke up on Ironman morning and there was a hurricane, they ain't doing it. So he still did something. I give him credit. And now, yeah, what do you want him to do? Stop? What do you want him to do? Stop at that point? Say, oh yeah, I shouldn't have done the elliptical yesterday. Let's pack it up and go home. And dealing with that stress. You know, Ron and I, and some other guy, Mike Romans, I think, was just a brief conversation about anxiety in terms of stuff like this. I don't get anxiety leading this ride with these two clowns. I've been riding it with them for a while. But we do like our Friday night happy hours, which isn't this week, it's next week. We do our Friday night happy hours, man, I tell you. Those things start at 7:30. At 7:25, I'm sitting there sweating that no one's going to show up. And then, boom, everyone shows up within like the next 10 minutes. But I'm sweating it out like a high school kid who just bought a keg, invited everyone over, and no one shows up. That's the way I feel sometimes. I feel the same way about the USA Triathlon ride too. Although I'm not really sweating it too much. That's not till September. I think September 23rd. But I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. I mean, look, I ride a lot. I still don't consider myself a cyclist. I don't know why. I just don't. So I know cyclists. I don't know what you're talking about, Ron. Maybe I was just really old in high school. sip of water. Yeah, so there's Matt saying he gets anxiety over his Wednesday night rides. Or over his Wednesday night. Look, I tell you what, sometimes, Billy Madison, exactly. Especially if you don't know who you're riding with, and you're not so sure you can keep up. Well, the ones he leads, the outdoor ones. I forgot that there's such thing as outdoor riding. Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, you're responsible for when you do something like this. These two guys, I don't, you know, whatever. This is just get up in the morning and going. But my Thursday night ride, sometimes I send out those invites to just random people, and they say yes. And then sometimes they do the ride, and they don't come back. And sometimes they do the ride, and within a couple weeks they fold right into the group. And all of a sudden, it's like we're best buds. It's all an opportunity. Hey, you remember my early rides, Matt? I had that thing too. I had that happening too. We start at like 5:30 in the morning. It's outside a new app extension of Zwift. But I used to get up in the morning, come here, and maybe I get one person to show up, or none. I didn't live stream those rides back then. Oftentimes it was just me. And then Thursday night ride, I think Thursday night ride always had somebody, but there was definitely some days. Remember Mike Osborne is a guy I know who I met through the platform, maybe on Twitter, and so I was inviting people to those rides Thursday night. And one day it was just him. I didn't talk to him about it. I just had sent him the invite. He showed up and me and him rode around the course for a while. And that happened in the beginning all the time. Invite 20 people, one show up, two shows up. And it starts building. I think yesterday was probably a dozen. Yeah, it's definitely something to do with making people happy, right? You just want everyone to have a good time. You want everyone to come back. You want to build the group. Everyone has a good experience. That's kind of what you want. But with those Friday night happy hours, it's especially like I've invited a guest to come and talk to the group. So if the group doesn't show up, then I got to tell the guest, hey, thanks but no thanks. Starting to feel these reps a little bit. Not as bad as yesterday. Yesterday was bad. Alright, so one other thing I need to talk about is the intermittent fasting. I know Matt sent me the rules today. I gotta watch it. It's a video. I gotta watch it. I know the theory behind it. And I know, I promised to do it for a week. So I'll do it your way for a week. I don't know when I'm going to start fasting and finish. I'm probably going to ask Allison what the best thing to do is. Glitch. Yeah, there's Todd right there. You see his legs moving in the game. And there he goes. I'll do it your way, Matt, for a week. I'll tell you this though, I am going to be open to modifying it after that week. But I'll give it a good effort. I gotta go to Costco this weekend, huh? And I was thinking, you said I could eat 16 ounces of steak every day. Oh, really? That's interesting. Ron and Todd, you guys talk. I'm too tired to type. You guys can't really see their conversation too much. Todd's having issues with his trainer today. A lot of times you just reboot those things, and then I think that's kind of what Ron's talking about. Two more of these 6-minute sets. I'm back to bed. Alright, I'm probably not going back to bed. I'm getting tired. Can't tell. Hey Matt, if you're listening, what are the hours that I'm allowed to eat in? What are the hours that you eat in? I want to know. So intermittent fasting is like you can only eat like between certain hours of the day. And I think at night you usually stop at like 5 o'clock. So you don't eat anything after like 5 o'clock. Which is supposedly key. Going to bed with no food in your stomach. That's part of it. You gotta remind me, man. I forgot. I'm sorry. Ron says he stands by his statement from yesterday about intermittent fasting. But I forgot what that statement was. I'm getting old, man. Memory doesn't serve me well all the time. Honestly, a lot of these things, you know, I've done Whole30 diet, I've done some other things. And you know what? If you stick to them, they all work. But sometimes it's like at what detriment? And I worry for me that I start a diet plan and I drop too much weight too fast. You know, I had a conversation with our team dietitian a few months ago. She's like, look, healthy weight loss is between 1 and 2 pounds a week. Now obviously you have daily fluctuations, but on general and on average. And that if you're losing more than 2 pounds per week, you're likely burning muscle or losing muscle. Could be some water weight in there too, obviously. 5 to 9. 5 to 9? Or 9 to 5? 5 to 9? 5 to 9 hours, is that what it is? I'll watch the video, I'll figure it out. So number one, yeah, I don't know if I should be losing more than 2, and I know in the past, when I've been heavy and I started a weight loss program, man, those first few pounds come off fast. I'm talking like, I think even this year, I think in January I lost 12 pounds, which is kind of cutting that, you know, it's like 2 to 3 pounds a week. But if you watch like The Biggest Loser or any of those shows, that first week, those guys lose 20, 30 pounds for that first month. Actually, they can lose in the first week too. 16 hours. 16 hours of fasting. So 5 p.m. till 9 a.m. I got it. I was thinking of 16 hours of eating. That's like reverse intermittent fasting. I like that workout. I like that diet plan. So I get concerned with any plan that's going to make me lose a lot of weight really fast. And then the other part is the science on working out, on eating after a workout, which says during the workout, obviously you're tearing muscles and you need to repair those muscles. And you can start that process quickly by starting to eat within 30 minutes of the workout. Eating and replenishing carbs, protein and carbs. So a problem there becomes, I mean, look at yesterday. I worked out at 5 a.m. and then I worked out at 6:30 p.m. Right? I'm already outside the boundaries of intermittent fasting. So I have to weigh those. I just have to weigh those against fasting and see what are my priorities, I guess. So what I decided to do yesterday, was that I was going to do the program, but then modify it and add one meal after this workout. Protein rich. Just get something in my stomach. So that would mean I'll eat at like 6:15, 6:30 typically. If I did that and then I did a Thursday night ride, which ends at like 7:30, and then ate something again, I'm outside the boundaries on both ends. So the thought was just to add the breakfast meal before the fast. I got a feeling that after 1 week of it, that's probably what I'll do. But I thought this was a heavy set. It's a recovery. Last one. But I'll work on that. Yeah, biggest loot. All right, so there's some comments from Ron that I missed. Biggest loot because I was ranting. Biggest Loser was a product of eating disorders and diet pills. I mean, that's awful. All right, Todd's done with his ride, but he's still riding. I think this is a big route. Oh, we're almost done here though. We're almost done the whole thing, but I think the lead-in is huge, Ron. I think I'm pretty sure that Matt did this ride once and it was a killer. Like you have to do another half a loop or something. Cookies and dark chocolate. I think that, I don't know, Ron, about protein shakes and liquid calories counting. I'll have to check that out, because that would be an option, for sure. Get off the bike, protein shake, start the day, don't eat again until whatever. You guys are hilarious. So I gotta tell you, Matt, though, as a coach, I'm not really allowed to give diet advice. I can give race-specific advice. And maybe your coach is also a nutritionist or a dietitian. But outside of the actual racing and a few little tidbits, I would just never prescribe a diet for a client. If they were doing it in conjunction with the workout anyway, I would say, all right, fine, do what you're going to do. Let's see how it works in with what we're planning. But I don't mean to you probably know your coach and dietitian. It's just it's a very thin line between what you can do and what you can't do. You know, too, is like, a lot of times you watch these videos and you just get suckered into whatever thing they're peddling. And if it's Whole30 yesterday and the carb diet, low carb diet the day before, what's that other one, keto? I mean, I've talked to some dietitians about keto that were like, not smart. Or else, if you're doing it, you have to do it. You have to be monitored. And again, I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying there's vast opinions on everything. He's a nutritionist. Good. I'm glad. Because I didn't want to rip him as a coach. I have to say it differently. I didn't want to make it seem like I was ripping him as a coach. Because I wasn't trying to do that. Minute and a half. And we're kind of done. Yeah, I did this workout Wednesday and it felt tougher than I thought it was going to be. But I was not in good shape on Wednesday morning. And yesterday was a tough workout. I felt good yesterday. We took that on. That was hard. So now today, as I feel bad again, and we're back to Wednesday's workout, I'm feeling like this took a lot out of me. Good way to start the day. I probably should have done the recovery workout that Todd did. The protein shakes count, Ron? So then I can't have them. Here's that archway. Here we go. Finishing out the week. I love when the cyclists do this. And they go to the finish. And I'm like, wow, they can run with no hands. I'd never try that outside. That was a good one. Ron, you sticking around or you gonna jump? He's got work. Calories are calories are calories. Yeah. But not if they come from chocolate and goodness. No, I honestly didn't know if the medium really mattered and fasting. I mean, I'm sure you can drink water, right? There we finish it. So I guess, you know what, it must not have been this course that I was thinking Matt did with the huge lead-in. Vacation day for Ron, I forgot. Hey, and we just got the badge. So, water is 0 calories. I should have known that. Alright, well, we got 6 minutes of cool down after this. Man. Diet Mountain Dew. Yeah, I'll drink some Diet Mountain Dew after the ride. Hey, what about coffee? Can I not have coffee in the morning? I mean, all right, I know I'm not gonna have. Look, I'll even ditch the almond milk, but can I have black coffee? He's not wrong. Diet Mountain Dew, zero calories. In a week, all my teeth will be rotted out. I think Mountain Dew is like the highest caffeine drink too. Is it 0? All right, I'm in. So I tell you, when I was kind of just starting to work, so like just getting out of college, early 20s, I tried hot coffee, and I didn't like it. I just didn't do anything for me. I wound up drinking Diet Coke. But I did go to iced coffee, and I would get cream and sugar. And then one day I stopped getting the sugar, because I must have been on a diet. And then I'd add those like flavor shots of Dunkin', like the French vanilla. Not the sugary ones, not the sugary swirl ones, but the little flavor shots. Give you like a hint of flavor. Probably have a little calories, but cold brew is where it's at. So, and then after I took the sugar out, I was like, man,
I got used to not having the sugar. I'm like, man, why would I ever put sugar in coffee? And then we did Whole30, and I stopped doing cream. And you'd be surprised how many calories. Like a large iced coffee, if you add cream, it's like 140 calories. So I took the cream out and went to the almond milk for the Whole30 because you weren't allowed to have dairy. And look, it's not the greatest. But if you're drinking a few of those coffees in a day, you know, let's say like on a heavy day I'll get 3 iced coffees. Whatever. I passed Dunkin' a couple times, I get 3 iced coffees. You think about the calorie difference. You know, the almond milk, I don't know, maybe it's 10 calories, 15 calories per drink. So you're talking 30 to 50 calories. And if it's 150 calories for cream times 3, I mean, you make that little change. If you're a coffee person and you wind up getting cream all the time, you make that little change and you're saving yourself so many calories in a given day, and then extrapolate that over a year. And it's a lot of calories. You got 2 more minutes. Hey, it happens. I've been on worse than that some days. So here was a typical day. I would get up. I'd get up, go to Dunkin', get coffee, go to work. Somewhere in the morning, I need a second coffee. Dunkin' was in the place. I would go downstairs, get second coffee. Sometimes in the afternoon, I'd get a third. And then even at night, not super late at night, it's not like I'm drinking coffee at 10 o'clock, but yeah, it's a habit. But you know, like I said, you take out the cream, and look, my body, for whatever reason, it handles the caffeine. Actually, I might even be immune. I don't even feel it. And I think that comes to, I used to drink Diet Cokes. And back in the day, you see at 0 calories, you just hammer Diet Cokes all day long. I mean, I'm talking about multiple 1-liter bottles per day when I was in my 20s and I lived in New York. And I didn't like coffee back then, and I would drink Diet Coke for breakfast, drink a Diet Coke at lunch, probably one in between, one in the afternoon. So I'm leaving work 4 down already. And I go home and be like, all right, I'm going to sit in my apartment for the rest of the day, buy a liter of Diet Coke, and just drink it. Some days it would go quick, and you go get another one. And I think my body just grew immune to caffeine. I don't drink Diet Coke anymore, by the way. Here we go, 10 seconds. Nor do I recommend drinking it. I got fat drinking Diet Coke. Anyway, guys, thanks for the ride. That was awesome. I make a cheaper way. Yeah, we've been doing the K-Cups. K-Cups? Yeah, that's it, K-Cups. I always get mixed up because we talk to Queen Bean all the time and she sells Q-Cups, which we buy. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for coming. Another week two in the books. I feel good. I feel really good about getting this done. It's just a great way to start the day. Rolling out of bed, as much as it sucks at 4:30 when the alarm goes off and then you hit the snooze. Today, I hit that snooze and I never quite went back to sleep, and I was just laying there and I'm thinking, snooze didn't ring. I probably turned it off instead of hitting snooze, except for my brain was telling me I didn't want to roll over to see. All right, I want to see that recipe. I didn't want to roll over to see how much time I had left. And then I was thinking, all right, maybe I shot through the time and I turned the alarm off instead of hitting snooze. And I could look right now, and if I still have time, I could race down and get on the bike. And I was like, nah, I'll just wait. And I waited, and then it rang. It's one of those things. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for coming. I know I'm talking out my butt right now. I can't even. Good to see you, Matt. Good to see you guys. We'll talk next week.